It's really exciting that these days with social media being, what it is and the digital world that we live in, that everybody can be considered a brand. If you have an Instagram account, if Facebook, whatever, you're a brand. I have a slightly different view to it though. I really believe that people need to invest in their persona before they become a brand. And that's something that I have done, not deliberately at the time, but looking back, that is what I've done. When you look at people like Richard Branson, you look at people like Steve Jobs, people like to do business with people. People don't really like doing business with brands. So when there's a person behind a brand, then there's a sense of reliability or there's a trustability factor about them that you feel you're doing business with that person. So for me, investing in a persona is so much more important than just considering yourself a brand because you have an Instagram account. So that's really what I think is important for people wanting to go out and use themselves to advocate for issues or create businesses. Really look at your persona. What do you as a person stand for? And would you be happy to do business with you? So when we're looking at persona, what does persona mean? And it sounds like quite a big word, but actually it's very simple. What's your reputation? Are you reliable? Are you there on time? Are you trustworthy? I've always taken the view that I would rather under-promise and over-deliver. And so, I became known for that. I became known for excellence. My name became known for excellent work. But that's really because of the investment that I took in myself as a person. I always wanted to be credible. I always wanted to have integrity. And these are the kind of things that people need to become brands. Too much focus is sometimes put in, oh, I'm a brand, just because I have, this great life, or I'm on Instagram and I'm showing the world my Instagram life. But I think, who you are as a person is so much more than that. Are you kind? Are you a nice person? Will you go out of your way? Will you go the extra mile? And that translates itself into business. And it really did translate into work that we got, because clients always knew that we would go that extra mile to make sure that we over-delivered on a promise that we made. And those are the kind of things that create brands. It's not the big things that create brands. It's actually the very, very small things that we do in our everyday life that actually creates brands that are reliable and trustworthy. I think, when you're working or as an employer or as an employee, I think the important thing is just knowing that somebody is going to be there when needed. And I remember a case when I had just had my son. I think he was about 2 weeks old, and Barclays were going through, probably the worst industrial action, at least during the time that I'd been there. And I get a call to say, you know what, we have a problem. There's media outside. There's going to be a full-on strike coming up. What can you do? And there was absolutely no question in my mind. I just bundled up my son, took a bunch of nappies and went off to work, with him in his Moses basket. And he was in the corner there, and I was dealing with the media and the press. And I think those are really, really important, is that, you're not there. I was on maternity leave, but that didn't matter. The brand that I was in charge of, was responsible for, was about to have a reputational issue. There was not even a question in my mind of what needed to be done. I mean, I got there and everyone was like, didn't you just have a baby? And I said, yeah, he's right there. But it's just what one does. Another example, which is more in my term as a consultant, in terms of the Gina Din Group, was Kenya Airways and the horrible crash that they had. And we were handling Kenya Airways at that time. It was really tough. It was on so many different levels. It was very emotional. It was a very tragic and horrible situation. But there was stuff to do. And it's at times like that you can't afford to be emotional. You just have to say, okay, I need to deal. What needs to be done? And yes, it was the media. It was the constant sort of talking to the worldwide media about what was happening, where we were at, Douala, all that stuff. But there was also the practical situation of the families of those that had lost loved ones who were arriving in the country. Who was going to take care of them? Well, you know what? Of course I was, and my team was. So we were out there taking care of them, ensuring that they ate. Then there was the families of the crew that died. It wasn't my mandate to do that, but you know what? That did not matter. And I think these are the kind of things that are important. This is what creates brands. It's actually, you just got on and did it. You didn't really care where the money was coming from. I had staff going out to Nakumatt at 11 o'clock at night to buy groceries. It was okay. It was just what you needed to do on a human level. And I think that human level is so important in building a brand. It goes beyond who's going to pay for it. It's not my job. It's your human job to do it. It's your spirit that needs to do it. And we did that, and I'm so proud of my team that handled Kenya Airways, because it was way outside of our mandate, but we did it, and I'm very proud that we did it, because just from my own personal spirit, it was the right thing to do. And that's sometimes more important than anything. It's what is the right thing to do. The interesting thing is, when you talk about legacy, brands come and go, and we've seen them. Lots of people, just in the 20 years we've been in business, have opened shop, closed shop. But the one thing that does not go, that does outlive you, is your persona. Who you are can never be taken away from you. That doesn't matter what the economy is like, doesn't matter about politics, because all those things affect brands. Your own persona cannot be affected by anything. Nothing outward can affect your persona. So I think it's really important, no matter how old you are, how young you are, investing in your persona is probably the best investment that you can ever make in your life. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. My next video is going to be a lot more about the Kenya Airways story and the challenges and the crisis that we handled at that time. Right now, I hope you're realizing how important it is to invest in your persona. The brand will follow. If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free to do so. Please share this video, and please today do something to invest in your own persona. Thank you very much. My name is Gina Din-Kariuki, and you're watching Shaping African Conversations.